Are you tired of consulting that lives in binders and never makes it to the job site? At Remodelers Advantage, we do it differently. Our immersive consulting works inside your real projects, your team, your clients, your challenges. We bring design, production, estimating, and operations together to build systems that actually work in the field. No ivory tower theory, just proven tools, collaborative problem solving, and measurable results you can see in weeks, not years. If you're ready to stop firefighting and start building a stronger company, let's talk. Visit www.remodelersadvantage.com or remad.co/Greg for more information.
Welcome to the Why We Build podcast. Join Greg Woleck to explore the world of remodeling, whether you're on the production team, design team, or managing the whole show. You can expect insights, tips, and stories that inspire and educate. So, let's dive into the Why We Build podcast.
Welcome back to the Why We Build podcast. This is Greg Woleck, your host. If you have suggestions for a topic or a guest, please reach out, greg@remodelersadvantage.com. Now, if you're a remodeler, you've probably lived this moment. A lead comes in on a Friday night or Sunday afternoon or at 9 o'clock on Saturday. And by the time you get back to it on Monday, it's gone. Not because your work isn't great, not because your pricing is off, but because the modern homeowner expects instant response. And most remodeling businesses are still built for business hours. Today's conversation is all about closing that gap. We're talking about how remodelers can use AI and automation to capture leads 24/7, qualify the right prospects, track what actually turns into real revenue, and free themselves from chasing dead-end leads so they can focus on the work they actually love, and that's building great projects. My guest today lives at the intersection of marketing, data, and real remodeling business outcomes. She's not here to talk about shiny tools or vague promises. She's here to talk about systems that convert, numbers that matter, and how marketing turns into money. So let's get into it. Joining me today is Rathna Ramakrishnan, Revenue Architect for Remodelers, CEO of Remodeler Digital. Rathna specializes in helping remodeling contractors generate qualified leads using multi-channel strategies powered by AI and automation, then tracking those leads all the way from the first click to closed project. Her work bridges the gap most remodelers struggle with, spending money on marketing without knowing what actually produces revenue. She's also the host of the Remodeler Digital Playbook and the author of The Best Known Remodeler, where she lays out an omnipresent marketing framework designed specifically for the remodeling industry. Over the last decade, Rathna has helped remodelers across the country move from guesswork to clarity by building systems that connect marketing, sales, estimating, and tools like JobTread into a single measurable revenue engine. And when she's not building automation, workflows, or analyzing conversion data, she's skiing, skydiving, or wrangling a pit bull puppy, or keeping up with her 2 teen boys alongside her college sweetheart of 27 years. Rathna, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Greg. Delighted to be here.
How are you doing today?
I'm having a great day so far. January has been a fantastic month.
Yeah, that's great to hear. It's a good starter month for a lot of people. So glad that's working out for you. Before we jump in, why don't you tell me about Remodeler Digital and then sort of how we cross paths?
Sounds good. So Remodeler Digital is a niche digital marketing agency. We work exclusively with remodeling contractors. The digital marketing space is just inundated with digital marketers saying, let me help you lead generate, let me run your next Facebook ad and Google ad. We don't just come in and lead generate. We come in and we build a comprehensive strategy. So if you have revenue goals that you want to hit, we can tell you exactly what the numbers are. So you know how much to put into a variety of marketing plays. We call it an omnipresent strategy. You can't just wake up and say, I feel like digital marketing and do a little bit of ads today and a little bit of posting on social media tomorrow. It's an omnipresent strategy where anytime a homeowner is looking for your brand and wants your service, they should find you at the right time, be able to connect with you and do business with you, and that convert into great revenue for you. So that's what we do. We literally serve as an external marketing department for remodelers between 5 to 40 million. We do serve a lot of smaller remodelers, a million to 3 million as well. And we just meet them where they are and help them scale. I do have an interesting story about how I came across Remodeler's Advantage. I have a podcast called the Remodeler Digital Playbook Podcast where I speak to remodeling contractors. And the first time I heard about Remodeler's Advantage was through one of my guests. Every question, he could not stop talking about Remodeler's Advantage. He said, well, this is how I came to the solution. This is how I solved it. And this is how fun it is to learn from peers and mastermind. David Pollard with Lead Co. is the contractor. And then last year, I happened to be a speaker at the International Builders Show, and one of your primary consultants, who is Doug Howard, whose automations back-end business we help run right now for Doug. He happened to be at my session, and when my session concluded, he ran over and he hugged me and he said, "This is exactly what remodelers need. This is exactly what I need in my life. You got to follow up with me." And so one thing led to another, and then here we are. So I think Remodelers Advantage is just such a fantastic organization in terms of being able to support growth-minded remodelers, and those are the people that are coming into our world as well for Remodeler Digital.
Well, Dave and Doug are two people that I do adore. I like them both very, very much. And I often say that our members are our best salespeople. They tell it for us, and we don't really have to do a lot of that. Now, I have a question though. Why remodelers? How did that become the focus of your agency?
I was a generalist agency when I decided I wanted to serve people through digital marketing. And when I launched my agency, immediately I had 17 different clients, and they were a yoga studio down the road. There was a beauty salon. There was a HVAC contractor, a school, a plumber, a couple of remodelers that I'd met from a BNI meeting. And I said, okay, let's go ahead and apply all of our marketing strategies that we are competent at and see what results we can get. And the more I worked with these different groups of people, I realized that remodeling is such a different and a unique niche where it's so hard to take that customer and convert it into revenue in the bank. I just love those kinds of challenges, and the results that we were getting for our remodeling clients on that roster was just phenomenal. And it was a combination of Google ads, Facebook ads, Google business optimization, SEO, the conventional digital marketing things. But we don't just lead generate. We take the lead and we convert them into a booked estimate appointment. And then we help the contractor generate the estimate and then help them through the project management. So we have contractors that work with AccuLinks and Jobber and JobTread and Builder Trend. And so we are an A to Z solution. And I realized that remodelers need that kind of support. If you just dump one qualified lead into their inbox and you say, yeah, go figure it out, sell it, it's one of the most complex industries. And it's such personalized business. They're in people's homes. They know the name of the dog, the kid's birthday, right? They're walking around the dining table. And so that really resonated with me when I was working with these different niches, that I loved the concept of being able to help these businesses that were in such a complex setting of lead generation, and just the cycle of business is so complex. And there aren't, as far as I know, any agency that serves as the A to Z solution. We don't just lead generate. We help you with taking the lead, putting them into AccuLinks, putting them into JobTread, and setting up your JobTread, connecting your QuickBooks, you name it. I have a team member that can help them. And it's very gratifying to see businesses grow when they come in. And we have several smaller contractors. They're like four brothers. They have a remodeling company, and they come in and say, we're at 600,000, we want to get to 3 million. I love those kinds of challenges. Or if you're a larger remodeler and you want to go from 23 million to 40 million, that's totally possible too. But the thing that I realized is that many of the digital marketing resources out there were just lead generation. Get the lead, dump the lead, goodbye. And remodeling is one business where we can't really say goodbye, because it just takes so many touch points to convert that lead and actually make it into meaningful revenue for the remodeler. And so that's how I got into remodeling. I love the concept of digital marketing. I built another business from scratch, which is a children's education business. And I took the business to $1 million in revenue by year 4. It's a seasonal business in a highly competitive market. I live here in the Bay Area in California. And when I look back and saw what I did to get that business to $1 million in revenue, it was directly tied to consistent digital marketing, right? Find the 3 to 5 things that work for you for lead generation, put more money into it, track it, right? Be obsessive about data, be obsessive about return on ad spend. And that's what led me down the path of helping other businesses, which got me to those 17 different businesses that I was helping with. And I realized this is far too complex to help everybody that needs help. And so I've niched down with remodelers, and I love it. I have a team that only works with remodeling contractors day in and day out.
So when remodelers hear the words AI, automation, a lot of them immediately think it's too complicated, it's too expensive. What is the biggest misconception that you see?
So when I was at the International Builder Show as a speaker, one of the people in the audience asked me, "Do you think AI is going to take over our jobs?" Yes, AI is already taking over our jobs, but if there is one business, one industry where AI cannot touch our jobs, it's remodeling. AI cannot lay a tile, AI cannot measure, AI cannot, do the detailed designing, right? The backsplash in the kitchen, the faucet, right? So when it comes to digital marketing, and the misconception or the thing that I see is remodelers default to being old fashioned. Oh, you got to call the lead and you got to speak to them. Yes, indeed. Today in business has to be more personalized with AI. We have to indeed call the lead. But it's the speed to lead matters. The person that's able to get in touch with the homeowner who is working 9 to 5 to be able to afford the $100,000 kitchen is not available to speak to you when you're working, right? So those are the AI and automations that are really making a difference in terms of being able to connect the homeowner to the remodeler to get the initial conversation going, because we already know how complex remodeling is. We need to get to that initial conversation. It's not only the initial conversation. After you've generated the estimate, people are not talking to you anymore. You're like, what happened to the homeowner? What's going to happen next? And this is where, again, we're able to use AI and automations to send a portfolio of your beautiful kitchens that you've built. Keep the conversation going. And if you've used any of the tools like JobTread or AccuLinks, they are all integrated with AI. We can build out intelligent workflows inside JobTread to be able to job cost and subcontractor. And so I think AI is so beneficial for the remodeling industry because, one, it's removing the grunt work, the repetitive tasks that we need to do to call the lead. Did you call them on a Monday, follow up on a Wednesday? We can have automations, intelligently built automations doing it for us. And then once it comes to the estimate generation, again, there's brilliant platforms where we're able to integrate AI and say, I'm not interested in a kitchen that's $15,000. I am a $70,000 kind of a remodeler. My kitchen start at $70,000. Have those filters, have those conditions inbuilt where a bot is doing the work for you, filtering the lead, creating the estimate. So there's so many touch points where we're able to use AI instead of just using AI as write me an email to talk to a customer, right? Or I have an employee that I need to let go. What's a legal way to say it? There's so many other things that we're able to do because Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, we're all able to integrate into so many platforms today, which is where the magic happens. And I think remodelers are ready and interested in using AI, but there is still that old-fashioned thing of no, this is one of those large, dollar value business where we still need to call them and do the baby steps. And sure, but the ones that are going to win are that adopt AI. For every cycle of business, you can integrate AI.
You mentioned Dave Pollard earlier. He's one of the first people I ever knew to really dig into AI and use it. Now, we talked about the 24/7 lead capture gap. What's really happening when that remodeler doesn't answer the phone on Friday night? They're going to get back to it on Monday. What are we missing?
My favorite thing to make remodelers understand this is today everybody is familiar with Uber, Lyft, or DoorDash. You're buying some kind of Chinese food Friday night, you're tired, right? What are we expecting when we call a cab or order food? My order has been accepted by the restaurant. Oh, there's the fellow that's going over to get my food. My food's been picked up. It's on its way. It's coming to my front door. They took a photo. They texted you. You call a lift, the same thing. White Toyota Corolla spinning around the corner. There's the drive, right? So these, in my opinion, are small dollar transactions. I'm spending $25 to buy myself a meal, or I'm spending $18 to go from point A to the airport, right? But feels good to know what's happening with my time, to know what's happening with my food. And then here we are in an industry where people want to give us $1 million. They want to build an ADU for $250,000 or build an addition for $750,000. Why can't they have the same kind of premier experience of knowing exactly what's going on? I left a message. Am I going to get a call back? Perhaps on a Tuesday, maybe on a Wednesday. I don't know when the contractor is going to call me. Guess what? That homeowner wants to give you $500,000 of their money. They already know you, they like you, they trust you, they've come to your website, they're calling you. If that website was friction free and the homeowner could immediately book time on your project advisor's calendar or a salesperson's calendar, right? All of that technology exists, but simply just booking time doesn't give them the peace of mind because everybody is busy. Remodeling is a big piece of their life. They're dreaming about that beautiful space. So then you need the consistent follow-up saying, hey, we're going to call you on Wednesday at 10:30 that you want to be reached at. The magic happens when you empower the buyer, the homeowner, to choose a time that works for them, when they can speak to you about this big dream project that they have, when you are available, right? That marriage is totally possible of the calendars today. And that is one thing that a lot of contractors don't use, right? There's Calendly, there's different variations. We've actually built out a custom solution for remodelers where the follow-up sequence is so complete that the homeowner has that experience of ordering Chinese food and says, yep, I am going to be speaking to my remodeler because the just that ability for the homeowner to feel calm when they've decided to do business with you, it increases your credibility. Think about that, right? Just the fact that you know what's coming gives the consumer that peace of mind that all's going to be well. And of course, you're a fabulous contractor. You're going to come in and wow that homeowner. But when the start is glitchy, and then after they've received the estimate, you can do a follow-up. So all of that is what makes a big difference because the reality is people are comparison shopping. Even if we go online and try to buy a pair of socks on Amazon, we're like, that has a 4.8. This has a 5-star. What should I buy, right? And so people are in that mindset. People are comparison shopping. So if you got a lead that came to your website and left you a message, you're not going to win them in 2026 because they're leaving messages for 2 to 3 other remodelers. And so if they're leaving you a message, what can you do to make sure that they have the white glove experience of Uber, Lyft, or food service, which is completely doable because we can take the same technology, which is Twilio, which is the phone service that all of these companies are using, and use it in our high value projects, right? Just have the homeowner be wowed from the point they start doing business with you. So that's one of my favorite things to do is to how to streamline this and make it seamless for the interested parties to come together.
And this is using AI. This is using automations. It's going to feel like you're getting white glove service from that Friday evening call until, hopefully the end of the job. Hopefully you get it at that point.
Totally, because we run analysis and what we are realizing is that the larger revenue projects, the appointments are being booked. If we empower the homeowner to book an appointment, those appointments are happening on Friday evening, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoons. And when we went and we analyzed it, that's when the mom or the dad, they have the soccer games and the school drop-offs, their own board meetings and work, have a chance to sit down and say, this remodel is important and I need to get it done. When we empower them to do that, that's when the conversions happen. You wish you could just book it and then it converts. It's not as simple as that. But having that be friction free is just phenomenal in being able to capture that lead, improve your credibility, and then lead to money in the bank.
So smaller remodeler, typical day, they're getting a phone call, they're writing it down on the yellow pad, they're getting back home at night, they're estimating, they're doing, their phone calls are trying to catch up. For them to adopt this sort of technology, what's going to change in their day-to-day life?
They are not going to be calling leads. They are not going to be dealing with, leaving voicemails. There's this whole concept of tire kickers in remodeling where people are just like, maybe I need a remodel. Let me see if this works, right? So today with AI, what we're able to do is if you're a remodeler that wants a $15,000 kitchen, we can get you, we can make sure that you're connected to that kind of a homeowner. If you're a remodeler that wants $100,000 kitchen, we can do that today with AI and filters and build out intelligent bots. We can build out voice bots and text bots that are able to have conversations with the lead right away and query them on, do you know how soon you want to start your project? Do you have a minimum project value, right? Because you're all starry-eyed, but you can't afford the remodeler, then you're going to be disappointed. But that is the tire kicker that you don't want to be wasting your time with, right? So having those filters, having a bot do the preliminary interaction, I was initially skeptical. I was like, really? Like maybe this will work in plumbing, which is like $100 job. But do you think like homeowners are going to sit here and talk to bots? It's incredible. People are sharing their design plans, uploading it, right? Because people just want to be done. There's so much to do in life. They want to build the beautiful space, live in it, and move on. It's incredible what the bot is able to query. And these are not off the shelf bots. We actually build knowledge panels and train the bot for your specific brand. So it knows everything about you. If you tell the bot, do not disclose any pricing, I'm not interested in dealing with that, it will shut up. And so there's just so many things that we're going to do. I think we're in an exciting time in life where we can use AI to our benefit to get the revenue numbers that we want.
So, years ago we'd get a lead, we'd follow up on the lead. It was a good lead, right? And then we jot that down. Where did that lead come from? So down the road, things got rough. Let's go back and look at where the good leads came from. In this AI situation that we're talking about now, what does good tracking look like from the time they, I don't know, click the ad, click the website, to sign contract? What sort of tracking is appropriate and beneficial?
So it's called attribution data, right? And if we subscribe to what I call an omnipresent strategy, which is absolutely something that remodelers need, you can't just be complacent with a good looking website and 5 stars on a Google business profile. You need to be on Facebook. You need to have an Instagram profile, right? So when we have several digital footprints from where we are getting our leads, today with technology, we are able to tell what the source of the lead is, what is the attribution source of the lead. If your website's doing fantastic and you're getting a lot of leads from within your website, what can you do to enhance your website to get more conversions? Today, do you know that as a starting point? Because every business has a website, right? So that's what's possible with technology, where we're able to take all of your sources of leads, integrate them into a system, have an intelligent bot that's able to have the conversations, and just within 45 to 60 days, you can figure out what is your best source. So we work with remodelers that want to buy leads from Angie's and Home Advisor, and there's so contractor appointment. There's so many of those resources, right? Now, if you just keep buying from there and say, I'm going to give Angie's $1,000 this month, and then you don't know how many converted, you're like, I think it's 50%. Summers, you know how remodeling is. It doesn't just immediately become money in the bank. They give you a deposit. There's a design deposit. There's so many variables. This is where if all of it is connected to a centralized system, you know the attribution source of where they're coming from. At any given time, you can look at your snapshot and say, this month I committed to spending $5,000 on marketing. My 40% of my qualified leads came from Angie's. The next 20% came from PPC, pay per click, which is Google ads. And then you can make intelligent decisions about, hey, I'm at $1 million, I want to get to a $3 million. let's take the money that you can afford to put into marketing. Is it 5% of your new goals, 10% of your new goals? And clearly allocate the money and then reallocate the money if the lead quality is not working. So today with AI and automations and technology, marketing need not be a feeling. You don't have to say, I feel I want to spend $2,000 on Google Ads. It is a clear math. That is an auction system, Google Ads. You know what you can afford. What did you get in 60 days? Did those leads convert? Should you be putting more money into PPC, or is the market too competitive that PPC is not a play for you? Maybe you should not be doing Google Ads. These are intelligent decisions that we can make only if we know and we're tracking every attribution, every source of every lead that's coming into our world. And that's possible today, like JobTread. Like, I'm a huge fan of JobTread. There's Go High Level, which is the CRM that we work with. Different contractors. There's Market Sharp. There's HubSpot. There's many things that you can use, but you should be using some kind of a data source where you know where your leads are going into, and then track that every 30 days and see what worked, do more of what worked, and then do less of where you're burning your money. So that's critical, and I think that is the huge gap with remodeling, where people just do a few things here and there, but it's really easy today to figure out what is working for you, because every market is so unique. Like, what works in Chicago may not work in Phoenix, and what works in Phoenix may not work in California, because it's just a different market. And so just kind of doing cookie cutter things is not going to serve us anymore.
So the idea of attribution, I love that, because the old adage, 50% of marketing works, 50% doesn't. I just don't know which 50%. So that's really cool that that's where we're at now in terms of our technology and those sorts of things. How about the idea of, a qualified lead versus an unqualified lead? How does AI help us with that?
We are able to build what are called lead graders. And so we have a client that came to us, has a very unique concept of they're called 7-day kitchens. They literally can build a kitchen in 7 days, a proprietary method that the contractor has come up with. And when he came to us, he wanted to be acquired by private equity and take the brand national. And so he needed a solid pipeline built to prove the concept, right? So proof of concept. So when he came to us, we were able to do that because it's unbelievable to a homeowner to say, what, 7 days you can get this done? And no kidding. Like, I've watched videos, the contractors in and out sometimes in 5.5 days, right? The way we were able to help him get to a 2 million pipeline so he could go and present himself to private equity and take the brand national. And of course, through the process of that, we worked ourselves out of a job because the private equity firm came with their own marketing company. But it was the most gratifying activity that I did to help a remodeler go to private equity and be acquired, was because we built out a lead grader, which was integrated with ChatGPT. And the lead grader basically was trained. It was Barry. It was thinking and talking like Barry, right? So we trained it on what the parameters were. When somebody said really 7 days, we get the bot would answer the questions. If they said, I can only afford $15,000 kitchen, Barry started at $40,000, right? So just having a lead grader and then mapping it out. Anybody that wanted to book an appointment and speak to the contractor, we didn't stop them no matter what grade lead they were. And coincidentally, there were people that were D-grade leads that the contractor was able to sell, right? So anybody that wants to move forward and talk to the business, we are able to allow, AI and automations to do that. But just taking the pot of leads and categorizing them as A, B, A, B, A, B, and then having meaningful conversations with them, booking estimate appointments with them is what is going to move the needle forward, right? So you don't have to be making notes and writing things and figuring out is this a qualified lead or an unqualified lead. Set your parameters, minimum project value, kitchens, bathrooms, what do you want, what geo you want the leads from. If it's important for you that they did not start the project 2 years later, and now let's have those parameters, and then let's build out a bot that will vet the lead, qualify the lead, and then give you the qualified lead into your inbox. And it becomes really fun because then every lead that you're speaking to is qualified. right? If you're just talking to A and B grade leads. So lead graders are possible, filtering questions are possible, it just depends on what your goals are, and we can apply AI to build anything out today, which is again a fun activity for my team and I.
So, we at our company here at RA, we have a CRM, and there's a lot of automations and stuff. And, I'm a little uncomfortable sometimes with losing the touches, because I do like having the touches with our members and that sort of thing. But how do we make these automations feel like it's a human touch? What's going on there is it more parameters? Is it more that sort of thing? Or what else could it be?
So today we are able to do what is called a voice drop, right? So I can just record you and you say, hey, I'm Greg, I'm with Remodelers Advantage, just reaching out to you. How are you today? Have a voice drop, right? So in our workflows, when we build out, we have text messages, email messages, we do voice drops. But you're completely right. We can have all of these automations, but to eventually get into the homeowner's home, do the estimate, close the deal, close the sale, we need the qualified salesperson, project advisor, competent GC that can take that step. But because remodeling is such complex business for the homeowner, the remodeling industry has a bad reputation that contractors are, they disappear, they don't do the right job, we don't know if we're going to get what we're promised, they're going to go over budget, right? We already have that bad reputation that we're able to like skip over all of those worries when we're able to, keep the lead moving faster.
So we started the conversation, remodelers are not early adopters when it comes to this stuff. So, we'll call him an old school carpenter, owns his business now, not really tech savvy. What is the first automation you would recommend for them to apply to their business?
A call tracking phone number on your website. So if you already have people coming to your website, let's know who's calling you instead of it just going to a voicemail. Build out a quick follow-up workflow that will say, thank you for calling XYZ Construction. How may we help you? Give them an option to book time with you. The other piece of technology that is making a huge difference in remodeling is the chat widget. It's just a simple pop-up box that you must have seen on many websites that just pops up. And it's not just another pop-up, it's a very custom bot on the back end, where today we have the technology to either have people just sit there and talk to their computer to the bot. It can either be a voice bot or a text bot. And I installed it for several of my clients, and I was like, geez, are people going to sit here and talk about their kitchen stories and kitchen remodel? It's incredible. They speak to the bot replies, we're able to notify the contractor is then able to book an appointment. So that would kind of be the second tier. But if you've never done any kind of technology assist for your business, go with trackable phone numbers because it'll be life changing. It's going to give you that attribution data. It's going to help you not sit there and answer the phone. And if you're really going after the bigger remodels, the design build firms, those transactions are happening over the weekend, right? And so small or big, have the trackable phone numbers, know who's calling you, have the automations built out. That would be step one. And with the trackable phone numbers, we're able to put them anywhere. You can buy branded phone numbers. So today when your phone rings, if you notice, sometimes it'll say spam, sometimes it'll name the business. So we're able to buy phone numbers branded for your business. So when the phone rings, it's going to say, hey, this is, New Key Construction, and people are going to say, yeah, I've been talking to New Key. Like, I want to answer the call. I want to text them, right? So that's what's possible today. So if set up right, it can really save you hours and hours of, if you're a smaller contractor, like you spoke about, you're probably sitting in your truck at the end of the day and following up with these leads, which you don't have to. You can just be on your way, go eat dinner with your kids and have a quality of life, and the qualified leads that have come in.
You've got me thinking, if I've been chatting with bots when I think it's a person. Now I'm a little concerned. So just a couple of fun questions now, not necessarily related to our topic, but get to know you a little bit better. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite book, fiction or nonfiction?
Favorite book, fiction or nonfiction? So I'm a huge, but I read a lot of business books.
Mhm.
because I'm a small business owner. I've just been in business for a long time. There's a book called the Ultimate Sales Machine, and it's by Chet Holmes, and it really breaks down the importance of all of what we talked about, the touch points, the follow up, the how you need the human intervention. And so it's today, if you really took the Ultimate Sales Machine as it was written years ago and tried to implement it, it's going to boil down to befriending you on Facebook, following you on LinkedIn, right? Knowing what you're doing, what you like. So if you are a coveted client that I want to work with, then that is the ultimate sales machine where you can use all of the AI and the bots, but it's that touch point of knowing the person, knowing who they are. And it's pretty much a process that we do implement within my business to be able to work with the larger contractors. We try to understand how the company is built. We do follow them because they do a lot of posts and so forth. So I'd say The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes would be one of my favorite business books. And there's The One Thing. There's Atomic Habits that I've read multiple
Great
times.
book. Yeah, I've read
So
that one
I,
multiple times.
yeah, I feel like I don't read enough fun books. The last fun book that I read is Careless People. It's a whistleblower from inside Meta, inside Facebook, where she just
Okay.
speaks about what's working, what's not working. I really find it fascinating to read about these larger companies as to what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't just read about like a mom went on a trip with a kid, kind of like fun
All right.
stories.
So
I just,
nonfiction business, that's where you tend to
yeah,
put your thing. All right.
yeah, it's making me think. I should read more fun stuff.
If you could eat lunch with any historical figure, past or present, who would you choose?
Well,
Doug Howard is an appropriate answer.
Doug, I can go eat lunch with him anytime. Um, I'd say Indira Gandhi.
Okay.
She's the first Prime Minister of India and very controversial. First woman leader, came from a very privileged background. I would love to like hang out with
All
her.
right. So you like controversy, is what you're telling me.
She did a lot of cool things, and unfortunately, she was assassinated, and I remember that. So
Oh, wow.
that would be interesting to kind of pick her brain and all those years lost due to losing life. So
If you were remodeling your own home, what feature would be unique about the design?
it's so funny that you asked this question because I am in the middle of a remodel. Not because I wanted a more beautiful home. It was because of a fire in my home
Oh,
that
goodness.
happened out of contractor negligence.
Oh,
And so it's been an interesting past year for me. And one of my clients, coincidentally, and my husband was joking, "What are the odds that you have an agency where you work with remodelers, and the universe strikes us with this fire, and here we are." So I'm actually working with one of my clients who's taken on the project. Um, I love open spaces, where to me, like Indians, food is a big part of our culture. So I love having large spaces where people can get together and share meals, and where there's an indoor outdoor field. So that's kind of important to me. And just a really functional kitchen is such a center of the house.
okay.
And so that,
Very,
yeah.
very practical answers. I ask this question a lot when I'm teaching classes, and golf simulator came up a lot. The class I taught this week, so that's something I would probably want to do as
Well, I
well.
do have a hot tub in our backyard that we love. My kids play sports, so they love going in and out of the hot tub.
Getting a
So
soak.
yeah, and then we have
Nice.
a fountain because I love birds to come and drink water. So I try to keep it chemical free so the birds can enjoy the water. Yeah, but from inside the house, it would probably be just open spaces and no, none of that funky stuff. Like less is more.
Final fun question: coffee or tea?
Chai, which
Chai
is the
tea.
chai,
Okay.
Indian chai, which is made with a bunch of spices. And yeah, it's my 3 o'clock afternoon fix. Totally, I love drinking chai, made in the traditional way of boiling the tea leaves and adding milk to it with ginger and cardamom and
All
then
right.
sweeten it up. And yeah.
Very good. A little effort, a little extra effort, but it makes it taste better, I'm sure, right?
Yes, it's absolutely yummy. Yeah, once you get used to drinking chai, then the dip teas are a little harder to drink. So yeah, they're good. The peppermint teas and chamomile and all of that, I enjoy those as well. But tea is chai.
All right. Well, last question about remodeling and marketing. Someone's listening to this podcast. They are ready to move forward. Besides the phone thing we talked about already, in the next 30 days, what could someone do to improve their marketing to sales pipeline?
The most important thing today, believe it or not, is your website. Because I just onboarded a contractor who found me on ChatGPT, and I like to ask them. And it's because I've done the work. I have a good website. I write content, and if you're an award-winning contractor, it's even more important that you speak about those awards, right? So it's not a thing of maybe I need a website anymore. A website is such an integral part of any business today because that's where the algorithms, the GPTs are defaulting to. And you don't need humongous websites, you just need relevant, pertinent, good content. And if you're just able to do that, get 5 to 10 Google reviews, you're in business.
Rathna, where can we get in touch with you? How can we learn more about what you're doing?
My website would be the best starting point, www.remodelerdigital.com. And there's several ways you can get in touch with me. You can play with my bot, my voice bot, chat bot. It's all live on my site. You can talk to my bot. You can fill a form. You can call me. You can experience all of what I talked about right from my website. So I hope you'd be curious to try that.
I'm going to. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. I really appreciate it. And I look forward. I'm going to see you in Orlando, right? You'll be at IBS.
Yes,
all right. We'll make sure we connect in Orlando. Thank you again.
Thank you, Greg. It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show.
As we wrap up today, here's what I hope really landed. AI and automation are not about replacing relationships. They're about protecting them. They protect your time, they protect your energy, and they protect your ability to show up fully for the right clients at the right moments. What Rathna shared today isn't about shiny tools or chasing the next trend. It's about building systems that quietly work in the background, capturing leads, whether you're off the clock, qualifying conversations before they hit your calendar, and giving you real clarity about what's actually driving revenue in your business. If you are a remodeler who feels like you're always reacting, returning calls late, chasing half-interested leads, or spending money on marketing without knowing what's working, this conversation is your reminder that it doesn't have to be that way. Small systems implemented intentionally will change everything. And that's really at the heart of why we build, not just projects, but businesses that support a better life, better work, and better outcomes for everyone involved. If today sparked some ideas, check out the show notes for links to Rathna's work, her podcast, The Remodeler, Digital Playbook, and her book, The Best Known Remodeler. There are some genuinely practical resources there that you can put to use right away. Now, thanks for spending part of your day with us. Keep building forward, and we'll see you next time on the Why We Build podcast.
That's it for this episode of the Why We Build podcast. We hope you found something valuable to take back to your team. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Please send in your ideas for future episodes. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. If you want more information about our Roundtables program, production manager groups, design manager groups, consulting services, or any of the Remodelers Advantage offerings, please visit remodelersadvantage.com or email greg@remodelersadvantage.com.